Today is the third anniversary of the passing of my beloved wife Elizabeth, the woman to whom I owe so much, who gave me so much, whom I love so much, and whom I miss so much even after these 3 years. She was the mother of our 4 children, and she was granny to our grandchildren. And for the tremendous blessing that she has been to us all, we still give thanks to God. Today I've come to Crawfordsburn, one of those places where we used to walk quite often, one of the first places we went to after we started going out together, and it's a very special place to both of us. On the past 2 anniversaries, I shared some of those lovely features about Elizabeth that I really appreciated and that I still do appreciate in a woman. The past year has been different in a number of respects. On the 4th of October, I reached the same age as Elizabeth was whenever she left us to go to heaven. On the 4th of December, our son Thomas was married to Jess, and how we would have loved Elizabeth to have been with us on that particular day. And then on the 1st of February, you'll know I'm a mathematician whenever I say this, the 1st of February this year, it marked 1,000 days from her home call. All of these events have really underlined to me just how things have changed in life. But if I could borrow some of the words of the Apostle Paul, I can say, we are perplexed, but not in despair. We're cast down, but we're not destroyed. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 8 and 9. Now, although we miss Elizabeth, we remember that the scriptures assure us, as for God, his way is perfect. And as if to etch this important principle in our minds, it's a verse that's recorded twice in the Bible, 2 Samuel chapter 22 and Psalm 18. That verse goes on to say, the word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. And the idea in being tried is the refining of metals, subjecting them to heat and to pressure so that the pure metal can be extracted. The psalmist is really telling us that God's perfect way involves trials, but the trials are allowed for a good result, and we will obtain that good result if we're prepared to trust in him, as the verse concludes. He is a buckler, assures us that he will protect us in the midst of those trials so that we might be brought through them safely and for good. A couple of months ago, I came across the very last photograph that was taken of Elizabeth, just a week before she went home to be with her Lord. Even in her weakness, she was radiant, just a reflection of the joy of the Lord that she carried always in her heart. I still have a lock of her beautiful silvery hair, which I helped her to wash that very evening that the photograph was taken. I keep it on my desk at home. Perhaps it was her radiance and her positive spirit that really made me assume that we would have her for much longer than we did. Perhaps it was her way of protecting us from worrying too much as she deteriorated more rapidly than we realized. How precious will those last 45 minutes always be that we had with her as she slipped out into eternity. How glad in that moment I was for that evening in August 1979 when Elizabeth placed her trust in the Lord Jesus Christ for salvation. For I knew as she passed from us, it was eternal day and not eternal night for her. It was to be with Christ, which is far better, Philippians chapter 1 verse 23. It was to be absent from the body and to be at home with the Lord, 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 8. Those of you who know her will know that Elizabeth had a great way with people. She was in every sense a people person. She had a wonderful way of interacting with people that was able to get the best out of them. Now, she went around different schools with the Belfast and Castlereagh school meal service. She was able to explain and encourage the staff and reassure people who were having struggles with their work. She always seemed to have good sense in blending together the needs of the service with the needs of the staff. Like the virtuous woman, she openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. Proverbs chapter 31 verse 26. That is what marked Elizabeth. I remember the way in which she used to remind me constantly of the need to listen to people and to understand where they were coming from in order to guide them in the direction that they needed to go. Yet she could be firm as well. Not long after we were married, she used to say to me when it came to jobs that needed to be done about our house, quote, "It is either you or me that does this, and it's not me," unquote. As Solomon also wrote, "A prudent wife is from the Lord," Proverbs 19 verse 14. And I could still do with that kind of advice. I don't really know whether it's true of men in general or whether I'm just a relic from a bygone age, a kind of a dinosaur. But in these 3 years, I have begun to appreciate just how much Elizabeth did in keeping our household running smoothly. Although I think that I helped out in many little ways, I just didn't realise all that was going on and how much work it entailed. To be honest, I didn't think that I was thoughtless, but I probably was just unthinking. And I'm really sorry now that I'm not able to tell her with a little more understanding how much I appreciate that she looked so well to the ways of her household. Proverbs chapter 31:27. Perhaps I could just close this little reflection with this. The Apostle Peter wrote these words, and I'm going to quote from the New American Standard Bible. "You husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way and show her honour as a fellow heir of the grace of life." 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 7. For that reason, I'd encourage all you husbands that might be listening to appreciate all the unseen and unsung work that your wife does, and make sure that she knows that you appreciate her. How much I appreciate Elizabeth, particularly now.